So, hello everyone. My name is Adam, also known as ImNoWarrior on Discord, and I am one of the stock traders in Apex Labs. And as I told you before, I basically a bit about me. I am a doctor by profession, but obviously this trading is something of an hobby that I discovered a few months ago while I was just playing casual video games with my friends, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to earn some money using this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I found some deep interest with it. I initially started with crypto, had some losses, had some winners, but I'll be honest with you, it's something that didn't fit with me because I was like, there's no structure, I don't know how to do this, and all of that. And that's when I stumbled upon futures, and that's also when I stumbled upon ICT, the primary mentor that I learned everything from. And then that's when my whole trading eyes actually opened up, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to learn. And futures is what I'm actually going to apply. Because just like everyone I know, whenever you guys start, you're in a Discord group to try to learn, gather information, and that's how everything started. That's how it started for me. I was in a Discord group or other groups. And in all those groups, I would always see, everyone's trading crypto, everyone's doing this. And then there always used to be the small portion called futures, and no one would ever touch it. So one day I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm just going to go and see what it is. And then there was this group of people inside of it, and they shared their results, and they were earning crazy amount of money. And I asked them, I was like, guys, what is this? Like, everyone else is doing something else, and you're doing this. And then they called me in, they sat me down, and they were like, this is the way it is, and this is it, that's it. And then they made me understand what the whole process is and how everything works. And actually at first I didn't believe them because it just seems like a bit too stupid, right, to me, because I was like, how is this even possible? Especially when like everyone else is doing something else, and there's such a minority of people doing this. And then obviously I started doing it myself. I found ICT and everything, and then when I started coming like to the ground, getting live accounts and getting funded and everything, and started printing essentially, that's when I realized, I was like, okay, this is it. And then obviously my main aim was not only to just do this for myself, but since I'm a very big fan of teaching, I was like, okay, I'm going to educate other people regarding this as well. And obviously that's for my good senior and friend Medridge's request, I found a good platform to start, because I'm usually a very private person, and I just trade for myself and just try to educate people that I do know. But yeah, obviously I feel like I'm at a good enough stage where I've established myself just about enough to be able to pass on the knowledge to other people. So just a spoiler for today, that today it's not going to be about like trading or how to trade essentially. We're not going to dive deep into like how I trade or how the different methods of trading are. Today is just a bit of an overview about what I trade, that is futures, indices, what they are and how they work, and what their essential basics are. Because again, I'll tell you, when I started futures, I just knew three things actually: NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow Jones. So I have to trade futures for this. You just buy, you sell, you have contracts, and that's it. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know what essentially futures was, what indices were, and what they do. I'll be honest, I didn't even know what like NASDAQ and S&P and all these things were. While I was actually trading and I started printing money, my friends started asking me, they were like, oh, what is this? And I was just like, oh, is this futures? And then they were like, well, what is futures? And I was just in like, it's just like contracts and all of that. I never had a solid answer. So I actually sat down and I learned what all these things was. And for most of the part, once I actually understood what it was, it actually made me better in terms of trading. So let's start. Our topic for today is futures. So essentially, again, as I said, I don't know how many people here trade futures, how many don't. So it's just better off to start with the extreme basics. So essentially, futures or futures trading or derivative trading. So it's just, again, a type of contract agreement between a buy or a sell specific commodity or a security or asset. These three are interchangeable words, okay? And you essentially sign a contract to either buy or sell a specific commodity, such as NASDAQ, at a specific set future date for a set future price. For instance, if NASDAQ at 1500, you sign a contract stating that, okay, in the next 3 hours, I expect it to be 1450. So I'm going to sign a sell contract. And who do you sign a sell contract with? An essential buyer. So you are a seller, and the institution or the banks, again, interchangeable words, these are the buyers, the main driving forces for the candles up and downs that you see. You sign a contract with them stating that, okay, in the future date, at this time, in the next 2 hours, let's say, NASDAQ is going to fall by, let's say, $100. And you sell that at that highest point. And you set your profit at a level where someone else is going to buy that from you. So that essentially is just futures, and it is called futures solely based for the time purpose. Unlike, I think, options, which is slightly a bit different, because I think in options, the main difference is in futures, once that time for the contract expires, you get to reap rewards. You take everything, unlike options, which I think everything expires once the time for the contract expires. Again, I'm not sure. I just vouch for futures. But yeah, the main thing about futures is that after the contract has been set and your specific time of the future is, you go into the future and your price is at the level where you said it would be, and the contract expires, you get everything. Essentially for future contracts, so you need like two most important things. The first thing is you need obviously an exchange for futures, and since futures is like a very governmentally regulated thing, you are going to need a governmentally regulated exchange. And as I trade NASDAQ, you have multiple exchanges, but since again I trade NASDAQ, so my exchange is the CME group, that is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Sorry for that. And yeah, then again you have multiple other exchanges as well. Towards the end, I'll open my trading view and everything that I've said. I'll just summarize that. Again, sorry, my laptop's a bit shitty. I've ordered a new one, so when I screen the trading view and open it at the same time, it just gets a bit laggy. So I'll just share that at the end. Medrish, please do remind me of that. Thank you. Yeah, so essentially the second thing that you need after the exchange is obviously a broker account to trade, a brokerage account to trade. So the one that I use for my funded challenges and funded accounts is TradeAway. But again, you have multiple others. Honestly, there's like, you pick up a rock and there's like a brokerage account, unlike exchange. The exchange for NASDAQ and the US-based future indices is CME. But you have multiple other brokerage brokerage accounts, sorry. And the one that I use is TradeAway. And essentially the platform that I use for trading, as I mentioned in the premium chat, is TradingView. So you can either use the TradeAway system on its own without using the TradingView, which personally I find the interface very, very difficult to handle. It's just way too much weird for me. So what I do is I just connect my broker, that is TradeAway, with the TradingView. You can obviously do that. The only downside with that is that the CME group on TradingView, they don't share real-time data. They just share a slightly lagged data, I think 10 minutes before. So if it's whichever hour passed by with 16 minutes, on TradingView, it's going to be around, say, 10 minutes behind. So you have to purchase the real-time data. Again, it's not too much, honestly, it's like around 10 pounds or something, and there's always heavy discounts on what do you call it, the TradingView. So you get it for a discount as well. That's the only downside. Otherwise, I honestly don't consider it a downside because TradingView it's really the better one as compared to the TradeAway. What do you call it? The TradeAway, that is the brokerage account. So yeah, moving on with futures. So that's essentially what futures is. The two main uses for futures as a trader or an investor or an institution is you can either hedge or you can speculate, right? So hedging is basically when your future contracts are either bought or sold solely with the intention to, either receive or deliver any of your commodity or security or assets. Relating with futures, you speculate that again in a specific time in the future, I expect NASDAQ to pump up. So at a particular time, I'm going to sign a contract, future contract. I'm going to press buy, hoping that it flies up to my take profit so that I can just sell it off to someone else, right? So mainly two things, hedging and speculating with futures. Again, hedging is something that institutions do, and speculating is someone that retailers or investor traders do, because I don't know if you know or not that future contracts are generally, they're liquid. And as I mentioned before, they can be bought and sold up till the time of expiration. After expiration, you can just reap and sow the rewards. So many times that I was asked, why do you trade futures? So the reason I trade futures is just solely one reason: leverage, and a ridiculous amount of leverage. Obviously, I know you have leverage in crypto and essentially in everything, but the leverage in trading futures is a bit more, I would say, well regulated and well organized for me. Because if you take an example for crypto, you have you just straight up, you can leverage the amount of, say, a coin that you're buying or selling. But in futures, when you're trading future indices such as NASDAQ, it's not the amount of, say, coins that are leveraged, it's essentially the contract that are leveraged, right? So I'll get deeper into that, but first I'll just like to explain what futures is a bit more. So again, we come to futures, the types of futures. So this is a really vast category. You have essentially futures for any sort of an index, right? An index, sorry. So you have say financial futures. So your financial futures contain specifically your index contracts and your interest rate contracts, which are basically your the bonds and the federal funds and the euro dollars, and even your notes, 2-year bonds, 5-year bonds, 10-year bonds, treasury bonds, and more so importantly, the ones that I trade. Obviously, that is the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and the Russell 2000. So all of these are financial futures for what? Indices. And obviously, for those of you who don't know what index or indices are, so they're basically just a measure of performance of all of your the companies that come under all of your stock exchanges. So if you look at this in a way, this is a very vast thing, and that is why it's so printable. Because see, what is NASDAQ, right? So what is NASDAQ? NASDAQ is essentially, you Google what is NASDAQ and it's going to tell you that it's a stock exchange. But what you need to know is that it is the stock exchange with the largest trading volume and the second largest market cap next to what? The New York Stock Exchange. So that gives you an idea of essentially how much money you can make with this. Again, I'm not saying that you can make money with, say, indices or bonds or crypto or any other commodities. But if you learn how to do this one specific thing, this gives you life-changing money. So again, yeah, indices, as I said, it just measures the performance of the companies that are listed, the stocks that are listed under the exchange. So if you're trading the future for those indices, that just means that you can literally buy or sell specific portions or sectors of the whole exchange itself. So essentially, if I say I'm trading NASDAQ futures, that literally means that I'm buying or selling sectors of the NASDAQ stock exchange, which basically, if I'm not wrong, it regulates the top 100 US non-financial companies, if I'm not wrong. So you can actually grab a vast majority of it, and you can trade based on that, either buy or sell. So that's basically futures and indices. I just want you to know a bit of a difference, because this is something that initially confused me a lot, because I was like, okay, if I open TradingView, it says indices, and that has everything, NASDAQ, S&P, and everything. But when it comes to futures, that has everything as well. So you can trade both, but it's just a bit more of a vast grab of a money-making opportunity if you're trading futures, because futures gives you the opportunity to make money off of, or again, buy or sell from sectors of all of the listed companies, which collectively comes out under NASDAQ. So when you're trading NASDAQ, that's essentially what you're doing. So again, you have financial futures, again, the one that I trade, NASDAQ, and you can literally name anything else and it has futures. You have currency futures, that's Euro, British pound, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. You even have the Bitcoin futures as well. Other than that, you have futures for energy, that is your crude oil. I know a lot of people who trade that. Natural gas, gasoline, ethanol, even ethanol. You have futures for metal, silver, gold, copper, palladium, platinum, all of that. You even have futures for grains. It's called grain futures, where you can like trade for futures of corn, soybean, and everything is there. If you open TradingView and you type these things under the futures column, everything comes up. You even have futures for livestock, live cattle, lean hogs, feeder cattle, and you even have your food and fiber futures. That's coffee, cotton, even orange juice. Yeah. So that's essentially what futures is, and that's essentially what futures and indices is. And as you can already see, is just this is something that these are the things that I didn't know initially, honestly. And then when I actually, even though I was trading it, I didn't know. But then when I got to know about all these things, I was like, okay, I'm trading in like a major area, and that's why it's a very well written. And as I say, if you take something else, like say if I want to trade Bitcoin, I have $500. I go to say, I don't know, Bybit, Mexi, or any broker, and I just put my money in. That's my funded account, $500, and I just start trading with it. Say $5 a trade, and I just start to build that up. So you can essentially do the same with futures, but again, as the contracts for futures are so high leveraged that honestly, if you go a couple of ticks down from $500, you'll just essentially lose all the $500. And frankly speaking, I didn't have enough money to start a futures account. So that's basically where your funded accounts or prop firms come into play. So what are essentially prop firms? These are basically different companies that, in the most laymanest of terms, they just give you money from their company to trade. It's as simple as that. Prop firms, that's what we have prop firms for Forex as well. Again, I don't know how many people here do Forex, but yeah, you have prop firms for essentially anything. They're just a big company and they lend you money with different accounts. You can have 25K account, 50K account, 70, 150, 300. But again, they have their own sets of regulation and they've really streamlined everything in the sense that, again, if you want their money, you have to pass a specific challenge, and those challenges have their own specific regulations, sets of rules and boundaries. I'll go over those. I'll go over the website and the prop firm that I use for my funded account. But yeah, essentially, prop firms are the ones that provide you with their funded accounts, and if you pass their funded account challenge, they will give you that money. Obviously, once you've passed the challenge and you've gotten the money, it doesn't end there. You still have to abide by specific rules and boundaries. And if you don't, that's it. Your account is cancelled. But yeah, so coming to funded accounts, it's honestly, it's a really good way if you're someone who knows how to trade, you're good at it, you've been good at the demo, and you feel like it's time for you to step up. As long as you know what you're doing, I personally believe that this is just free money. You go, you sign up with a prop firm. Naturally, per month, you have to give a specific amount to them for registration. You grab any specific type of account for worth anything between 25K to 300K, depending on your confidence, honestly, and how much you can afford. You pass the challenge and then you start earning. Now, again, once you're earning, you need payouts from them. And those payouts themselves have specific set of rules. Let's say that you pass the challenge in the first 7 days. So essentially your first payout is free. They don't take anything, because they do, I think they take like around, depending on the type of prop firm, which type of it is, they can take like 10% off. Or say if you want to take a withdrawal before 40 days, the first 40 days of trading, then they take 25%, or they split it 50-50. But if you're taking a payout after 40 trading days, then I think all of the money is yours. But again, that just solely depends on the the type of prop firm. So let me try to share my screen, and I'll just show you the prop firm that I use and how generally a prop site would look like. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Can you see the Google Chrome? Hold on, let me try to. Oh, I think it should work now. Hold on. Is it working now? Perfect. Yeah. So oh boy, my laptop's gonna shit. So yeah, essentially this was the one that I was initially told to use, and honestly, at the start I just did what people told me to do, but thankfully I was with the right people and they told me the right things. So the Apex Trader funding is the one that I use. Obviously, I'm not affiliated with them or anything. This is just the one that I found to use. And if you go down, so what do we have? Just want to go to the different account. Yeah. So essentially, there are two brokers that you can use on the Trader8, and the other is NinjaTrader plan. There are multiple plans for these, and as you can see, as I told you, they give you a starting cap. Can either be anything from 25K, 75K, essentially all of these over here. Yeah. Now, if you're someone who's looking for Apex Trader funding, you should know that there are two different type of accounts. So one's a rhythmic account. If you can see here, this is the rhythmic account. That's with the NinjaTrader broker, right? And then you have a static account, which is with the Trader8. So if I just try to find this one for you. Yeah, so this is your static account right here, and this is the one that I use. So what's the difference between static and rhythmic account? Essentially, there's one big difference, and that is total drawdown. The trailing threshold, my bad. And if you can see here over static, it says trailing threshold none. And if I try to give you a rhythmic account, so you have a trailing threshold over here that has a value, again a trailing threshold over here that has a value. But if you go all of these, if you see all of these, they have a trailing threshold of a specific value. But if you go to the static one, it has no trailing threshold. So for those of you who don't know what a trailing threshold is, so essentially, let's say you're in a let's say you're in a long, you can have a look at my cursor here. Let's say you long a position over here, right? And your target is somewhere on this yellow line. So, oh, there's no graph. Do you see my cursor? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to just think on. I know if I put my trading view on, is this my laptop's gonna explode? Yeah. Sorry for that again. Yeah. So if you see here, let's say you take a position from here and you want to target this. Let's say you reach up until here. See, you're in a very decent profit, obviously. But again, your target is here. If at any point your price starts to drop, and let's say your price drops to $7,500. So from here till here, and remember your position is here, you are here, and your price drops. And if this drop is $7,500, that's it. Your trailing threshold has been hit, and you don't have an account anymore. It's gone. So essentially, you have to try again. So that's what a trailing threshold is. And for rhythmic accounts, or for accounts that are worth a lot, such as 3K accounts, they have a trailing threshold. For accounts that have a lower value, such as a 100K account, and accounts that are static specifically, they don't have any trailing thresholds, right? So let's say you're here, take a position, you reach here, and it drops all the way down to almost your entry and goes back up to your profit. That's it, you won. You get to keep the money. Your trade is successful. Why? Because there's no trailing threshold. And obviously that's why I have the static account, because it's just better. And the other good thing about this is that you can have like 10 of these accounts. So if I say pass 10 challenges, I can trade with account number 1, and I can put the rest of the 9 on copy trading. So essentially, if I earn, say, let's say I earn $50 on my account number 1, and the rest of them are on copy trading. So for the day, I have won 500. And that's something that's very easily achievable on the static account rather than the rhythmic account. The only first point with a rhythmic account that you get is the amount of contracts that you can give it. So I'm just going to dive into a bit more specific. So again, as I said, I have the 100K static account, and that's just the one I prefer. So if you see here, it says you can use about 2 contracts, that is 20 micros. So for those of you who don't know, what do you call it, when you take a position on future indices, such as NASDAQ. So now I'm just going to be specific to NASDAQ. So in NASDAQ, each specific contract has its own value in terms of dollars. And you have 2 types of contracts. You have the micro contracts, which is the larger contracts. And then you have the mini contracts, which are the smaller contracts. So one mini contract, that is the E-mini NASDAQ, 10 mini contracts, such as that is the 10 E-mini NASDAQ, that's worth 1 micro. And as you can see over here, 2 minis is worth 20 micros. So that means that 10 micros is equal to 1 mini. And obviously the value for a mini contract is more than the micro contract, essentially 10 times more. To pass the challenge for this specific account, so you'll be given an account of $100,000, and on top of this, you have to earn $2,000. When you do that, you'll get an email, you'll get a certificate that you're now a verified trader for Apex Trader Funding. Congratulations and everything. Now you can start earning money. Yeah. Again, plus point, or I'd say the biggest plus point, is that there's no trading threshold, so you can just freely swing around here and there. Obviously, don't do that, but I'm just saying that you have the legitimacy to do so as compared to a rhythmic account. Your total drawdown is $625. So what's a total drawdown? A total drawdown is basically means that if you have a $100,000 account and you lose $625, which can be in one trade if you're stupid enough, or in multiple different trades, if you're having like a few losing trades and you lose up to $625, that's it. Again, the account is gone. So let's say you have a 100,000 and you minus 625 from it. So when your net balance goes from 100,000 to 99,375, your account is finished. Why? Because that means you've lost $625, right? So as I said earlier, what do you call it? It's very, very regulated and it has a lot of boundaries and everything. But I personally believe that it's good because it just keeps my psychology set for trading. Again, this isn't something you should be worrying about. NinjaTrader license, now this is free. Real-time data is free, but obviously this real-time data is only free if you're using the TradeAway interface, which again I can't. It's beyond me. So I just use TradingView and I pay an extra £4 or £5 for real-time CME data. Yeah. So again, if you're purchasing this account, it's $137 per month. But again, the good thing about Apex is once you sign up, once you join in, every month there's an 80% or a 90% sale on this. So this literally drops down from 137 to, if there's a 90% sale, it drops down to $15. Even currently there's a sale of 80%. Next month there's going to be 90% or 80%. So you're literally getting a 100K account with no trailing threshold for $15 a month. But you need to know that the $15 a month is only for the first month for you to pass your challenge or obviously fail your challenge, depending on you. Once you do that, then it's, I think it's again $100 a month. But even that has a sale, or you can get lifetime coupons where you have to give like, I think, $45 to $50 a month. But essentially for someone who wants to test themselves, who feel like they're good enough, I personally believe that $15 for the first month for so much money and such an easy, yes, I'm going to say it, an easy profit, achievable profit. This is something, if you know your stuff, trust me, if you put in the effort, this is something you can do in one trade. I'm not going to entice you to do it. You will be stupid enough to do it, but there are days where you're going to have like an amazing day. Let's say if you're someone who wants to earn $200 a day, some days are going to be where you're going to literally earn $1,000 because you would have had such a good day. So this is a very achievable target. And in turn, this is also a very achievable target, the 625, if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, it does look a lot, $625, but trust me, I'll talk about the leverages of the contracts and how much they're valued. Then you'll know that this is a very, very small amount. So yeah, I feel like if you're someone who wants to start, you're done with backtesting, you want to forward test, this is amazing because once you start, this is literally going to be, say $15 a month. I personally have multiple coupons for this because I've been using this for a while. I'll be more than happy to share the coupon with you if you want to try this. So $15 a month followed by say $30 a month. If there is a lifetime coupon, if not, then obviously once you start earning money, you have to give $100 a month, which I don't feel like is too much because if you withdraw for 40 trading days, all of the money is yours. If you pass the challenge in 7 days, the $15 are yours as well. So essentially you're getting it for free. So this is what it is. Again, just to recap, there are two types of accounts. A rhythmic account, which has a trailing threshold of whatsoever amount depending upon the starting capital that you're taking. And then you have the static account, which does not have a trailing threshold. The other thing is, if you're going for a higher starting capital, if you can see, if you're going for a 50K, you're only getting 100 micros, but if you're going for 75K, you're getting 120 micros. Do not be that guy. Just start with the least amount. Start with 20 micros. 20 micros is way too much. Trust me. I trade in between 2 to 5 micros. Yes, 2 to 5 micros, not 2 to 5 minis. I trade with 2 to 5 micros. And that too by division. I put 2 at one position, 2 at the other position, 1 at one position. It isn't DCA. It's just my limit orders. If they all get filled and I go up, hit my take profit, I get even more money. But yeah, I feel like for starters, this is amazing. So I think we'll just wrap things up by talking about the value of the contracts. If I show you, that'll be much better, because I remember when I saw this the first time, they had everything about, what do you call it? Yeah, so if you see over here, where is NASDAQ? So as I told you, NASDAQ has micros and minis. So the mini contract on TradingView is E-mini NASDAQ, and for the micro you have the just the NASDAQ, right? And then we go for futures. Oh yeah, here's straight away. What is this? Was something that always confused me as well. Let me just try to find it. Micro futures. Yeah. So as I said, so the contract in futures, the value, and depending on the in terms of when you're trading futures, NASDAQ, we talk in terms of ticks. How many ticks the price has moved up, and then one tick essentially has a specific price value attached to it in the contract. So naturally, one mini contract per tick will give you more value. If you look over here, E-mini NASDAQ 100. Where is the micro? Yeah, so the micro NASDAQ per tick is this much, 0.25. And then if you come to the mini, your point value is $20. So $20 versus $2. Actually, it's better if I show it on TradingView. Oh, it's going to take ages now to open. I can't wait for my new laptop, honestly. So you'll be given an account of $100,000, and on top of this, you have to earn $2,000. When you do that, you'll get an email, you'll get a certificate that you're now a verified trader for Apex Trader Funding. Congratulations and everything. Now you can start earning money. Yeah. Again, plus point, or I'd say the biggest plus point, is that there's no trading threshold, so you can just freely swing around here and there. Obviously, don't do that, but I'm just saying that you have the legitimacy to do so as compared to a rhythmic account. Your total drawdown is $625. So what's a total drawdown? A total drawdown is basically means that if you have a $100,000 account and you lose $625, which can be in one trade if you're stupid enough, or in multiple different trades if you're having like a few losing trades and you lose up to $625, that's it. Again, the account is gone. So let's say you have a 100,000, and you minus 625 from it. So when your net balance goes from 100,000 to 99,375, your account is finished. Why? Because that means you've lost $625, right? So as I said earlier, what do you call it? It's very, very regulated, and it has a lot of boundaries and everything. But I personally believe that it's good because it just keeps my psychology set for trading. Again, this isn't something you should be worrying about. NinjaTrader license. Now this is free. Real-time data is free, but obviously this real-time data is only free if you're using the TradeAway interface, which again I can't. It's beyond me. So I just use TradingView, and I pay an extra £4 or £5 for real-time CME data. Yeah. So again, if you're purchasing this account, it's $137 per month. But again, the good thing about Apex is once you sign up, once you join in, every month there's an 80% or a 90% sale on this. So this literally drops down from 137 to, if there's a 90% sale, it drops down to $15. Even currently there's a sale of 80%. Next month there's going to be 90% or 80%. So you're literally getting a 100K account with no trailing threshold for $15 a month. But you need to know that the $15 a month is only for the first month for you to pass your challenge or obviously fail your challenge, depending on you. Once you do that, then it's, I think it's again $100 a month. But even that has a sale, or you can get lifetime coupons where you have to give like, I think, $45 to $50 a month. But essentially, for someone who wants to test themselves, who feel like they're good enough, I personally believe that $15 for the first month, for so much money and such an easy, yes, I'm going to say it, an easy profit, achievable profit. This is something, if you know your stuff, trust me, if you put in the effort, this is something you can do in one trade. I'm not going to entice you to do it. You will be stupid enough to do it, but there are days where you're going to have like an amazing day. Let's say if you're someone who wants to earn $200 a day, some days are going to be where you're going to literally earn $1,000 because you would have had such a good day. So this is a very achievable target. And in turn, this is also a very achievable target, the 625, if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, it does look a lot, $625, but trust me, I'll talk about the leverages of the contracts and how much they're valued. Then you'll know that this is a very, very small amount. So yeah, I feel like if you're someone who wants to start, you're done with backtesting, you want to forward test, this is amazing because once you start, this is literally going to be, say, $15 a month. I personally have multiple coupons for this because I've been using this for a while. I'll be more than happy to share the coupon with you if you want to try this. So $15 a month followed by, say, $30 a month. If there is a lifetime coupon, if not, then obviously once you start earning money, you have to give $100 a month, which I don't feel like is too much because if you withdraw after 40 trading days, all of the money is yours. If you pass the challenge in 7 days, the $15 are yours as well. So essentially, you're getting it for free. So this is what it is. Again, just to recap, there are two types of accounts. A rhythmic account, which has a trailing threshold of whatsoever amount, depending upon the starting capital that you're taking. And then you have the static account, which does not have a trailing threshold. The other thing is, if you're going for a higher starting capital, if you can see, if you're going for a 50K, you're only getting 100 micros, but if you're going for 75K, you're getting 120 micros. Do not be that guy. Just start with the least amount. Start with 20 micros. 20 micros is way too much. Trust me. I trade in between 2 to 5 micros. Yes, 2 to 5 micros, not 2 to 5 minis. I trade with 2 to 5 micros. And that too by division. I put 2 at one position, 2 at the other position, 1 at one position. It isn't DCA. It's just my limit orders. If they all get filled and I go up, hit my take profit, I get even more money. But yeah, I feel like for starters, this is amazing. So I think we'll just wrap things up by talking about the value of the contracts. If I show you, that'll be much better, because I remember when I saw this the first time, they had everything about, what do you call it? Yeah, so if you see over here, where is NASDAQ? So as I told you, NASDAQ has micros and minis. So the mini contract on TradingView is E-mini NASDAQ, and for the micro, you have the just the NASDAQ, right? And then you go for futures. Oh yeah, here's straight away. What is this? Something that always confused me as well. Let me just try to find it. Micro futures. Yeah. So as I said, so the contract in futures, the basically TradingView. If we now that I'm on TradingView. Oh, okay. God damn it. Is it oh, okay, perfect. Oh, no wonder my laptop's stuck now. So for those of you who don't know, this is TradingView. This is essentially how it looks like when you open it first. This is where our symbol is. So if you see all of these, everything over here. So these are your indices. Oh, this is lagging so bad. Yeah, so these are all your indices. See, S&P 500, everything. You have the US NAS and everything. Now, when you're trading the futures of this, that's what we're doing. This is where everything is. See, so you have futures for everything: NASDAQ, S&P, oil futures, gold futures, even Bitcoin futures. So yeah, so the main one that I do is, again, NASDAQ. So in NASDAQ, you have two things. You can have the micro, that is the MNQ. So this is a micro E-mini NASDAQ. Again, if you see over here, this is CME. That is the one out of the two things that you need. And that was the exchange, which is the CME, Chicago Exchange. This is the micro E-mini NASDAQ, primarily where you should be trading. And then you have the NQ. That is the E-mini NASDAQ over here. All right. So the place where you should be doing your, actually, I'll not get into that. That's going to be a bit too much. But yeah, if we go to, so NASDAQ, if you go to MNQ, actually, I'll go to MNQU. I'll tell you why I added the Q. So you always trade on the micro E-mini NASDAQ. And if you see here, over here, it says September 2023. So the whole year is divided into 4 quarters, and your contract is for 3 months each. And each of your 3 monthly contract has a label attached to it. So the contract for July, August, September is labeled as MNQU. So the U is specific to the 3rd quarter contract. And if we come here, actually, let me go here. Yeah. So we're essentially over here, and you see it says contract switch. So every 3 months, our contract rolls over to the next quarter. Currently, we are in NQU for the minis, or MNQU if you're doing micros. So U is for the third quarter, that is from July, August, September till the 8th of September. Then when we shift to the 8th of September till the December contract, we are going to be in NQZ. So Z is again specific to the last quarter. And then if you come here, we're going to roll over in towards the end of December, if I'm not wrong, or mid of December. You're going to roll over from NQZ, Z is for the fourth quarter, to the next year's first quarter, that is NQH. All right. Similarly, if we come here, then from the first quarter, which is the NQH, we're going to move over to the NQM. And then again, from the NQM, we're going to roll over into NQU, and then again into NQV. So you need to be knowing which contract are you in order for you to trade. Because if you're in the wrong contract, it's either going to be expired or you're going to be trading something completely different. Because that's something I blew one of my accounts because I had a beautiful setup and I took a beautiful trade, and it only turned out that I was in the wrong contract. I was actually trading on NQ rather than MNQ or MNQU. And there's a slight price difference between NQ and the, the MNQ. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So the limit where I set, it was somewhere else, and the price came down on me and hit my stop loss, and I lost my account. And then I honestly had no idea why it was going on, because the rest of my friends that took the trade, we had the same limits, everything the same. But then it turned out that I was on NQ. Because NQ is mostly used for long-term analysis. When you can go back on NQ, you see all the candles are intact, right? But if I go to MNQ, yeah, look at these candles are destroyed. So these are because the contract have expired and you can't see anything back. So two things, take home points. You want to do your long-term analysis on NQ, and then you want to trade on the MNQ specific to which month's contract we are in. So if you want to trade tomorrow or day after, you have to go for MNQU. And it will show over here that it is September, right? Because if I just type MNQ and do this, see, no September, just says micro E-mini. So you can trade on either MNQ or MNQU for this one, but not on NQ, because if you go on NQ, if you look at the price for MNQ, that's 15516.25, but if I go to NQ, I think the price was a bit different if I'm not wrong. Okay, it's not different because the markets are closed. Once the market opens, there's like a price difference. So yeah, another thing, unlike crypto, which is open 24/7, your your futures are actually open 23 hours a day from Monday to Friday, or Monday to Friday. So if you click here, it says market closed, and when is your market opening? In 1 day and 3 hours. So every day your market is open from 6 p.m. New York time to 4:59 p.m. if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 4:59 p.m. Yes, 6 to 4:59 p.m. And one more thing, if you're trading futures and Q, the same for one mini. I'm risking $225 for 1540, which is again a lot. If you go to here. So this is where the mistake can happen. See, if you're trading on NASDAQ Q, and you're like, oh, you're trading on NQ, or you don't know the basics, and you're like, okay, I want to trade 10 micros, and you do this, thinking that, oh, okay, I'm just going to trade one mini that is 10 micros, but you're on this chart. If you're on this chart and you put 10 here, that means you're trading 10 minis and not 10 micros, okay? You see this? This is because you're on this chart. If I go back to the M and Q chart, we can just cut down on a 0. Because on this chart, the mini chart, this means 10 minis, not 10 micros. Okay? It means 100 micros. Yeah. So this is something you have to be careful about. This is something I was not careful about. And yes, on that day, if my take profit would have hit, amazing. But it didn't, and I lost my account because instead of trading micros, I traded minis because I was on this chart. And obviously that was stupid of me. So that's where I learned an important lesson. And that's where I sat down and I literally Googled what is futures, what are indices, what are the futures of indices, what are these prop firm accounts, how is leverage used in trading futures, and what is all of this, the micros and the minis and everything. And I made myself understand about this so I don't make those mistakes again. So yeah, I think that is essentially it. If you look over here, the market's not open, so I can't show it to you, but yeah, if you try to trade, if you've gotten trade away your account and everything, but you don't have the real-time data, it'll show you that you're in a 10 minutes delay, you're in a 10 minutes lag, and you have to purchase real-time data, again, for a very small price. You get, the good thing about TradingView is that you get like a ridiculous amount of discounts for it. Let's say I have a specific trading plan, and they've given me 3 for 2, so I'm paying 2 months worth for 3 months. You go into winter, you have something like Christmas or whatever, then you get it like 90% off, 80% off for like the monthly plans, and yearly plans you can save up to 60%, which I believe is amazing, honestly. But yeah, these were the basics of futures and indices, and you can trade more indices as well. This is just Nasdaq. Honestly, I just trade Nasdaq because it's just better. It just gives me more money. Oh, how do you S&P? Where's the and? See, you can tell that I've never seen the S&P chart because I don't know where the symbol for it is. Yeah, so this is the, where to go? Yeah, so again, so this is the S&P but for the mini contract, right? MES, if I go for MES, I believe the micro contract will come up. Yeah, there you go, MES for micro contract, CME again. So these are the smaller contracts, and I'll actually show you the tick value for this as well. I think it was different if I'm not. For Dow Jones, it's a lot. It's worth more than the S&P and the Nasdaq. Yeah. So, oh yeah, there you go. The S&P is worth more. So we're on the micro. Yeah. So see, one micro over there was worth what? 0.5, 0.25. If I'm not wrong. Over here it's 1.25, right? And one mini is then worth 12.5. So I can see, I guess the S&P is worth more than the Nasdaq, but again, I prefer the Nasdaq. In my opinion, it's much more. It has a higher price. See, this is hovering around the 4,000. That is hovering around the 16,000. Nasdaq in terms of value and its position, like financial position, not money-wise, but its general financial position is like the second largest stock exchange. So I just prefer trading that. And you have the Dow Jones, which is worth even more. You have, if you go for, I think, gold futures or crude oil, the one tick is for one micro is I think $5. So that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Gold futures is a ridiculous amount of money. But yeah, the end point here is that futures has a lot of money, like a ridiculous amount of money. And when you know what you're doing, you're trading based on just structures and liquidity and institution order flow and everything. Trust me, you can make a lot of money. And it's applicable, this type of TA is just applicable to every kind of asset. In my opinion, I don't vouch for crypto because again, it's just I don't understand it that much. And also the crypto market is open 24/7 and I trade solely based on the only two things that you can see in this graph. Axis, y-axis price, x-axis time. This is the only two things that I trade on. Yeah, so that's it. No indicators, no nothing. This is how it looks. The only indicator that I have is I have two indicators that I use honestly. I'll be open about it. One is for fair value gaps. This is an indicator which shows me fair value gaps are made because I'm just lazy in that regard and also because I don't want to miss out on it. And the other indicator is I have the time sessions. It shows me the Asia open and close, London Stock Exchange open and close, and the New York Stock Exchange open and close. And you can see from here, look at this. I mean, I'll just give you a spoiler for what's to come next and what am I going to teach. Look at this. Go to your charts. Go to anything, any kind of S&P, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, whatever. Look at the 830 candle. Look at all of these 830 candles. Keep on going back. It's going to be like this. Look at every 930 candle. I know for a fact that this is a 930 candle. Look at this. All of them are like this. Why is this price such low? And look at this from here till essentially all of this, like this whole price movement. Why is this so much? Why is this so low? Because all of this is New York. This is where New York opens, starts going crazy. What is this? London. Stupid, dumb, shallow. And then what is this? Asia. Flat. So you see, when you trade based on time and price, you know. If you don't know about time and price, honestly, you'll be looking at these charts day in and day out for years, and you would never know why at this particular time everything goes crazy, why at this particular time everything goes crazy, why during this whole time price is so up and down as compared to this whole time where it's just slowly making its way up or down respectively. So yeah, this essentially is futures, just a brief overview on futures. I wanted to focus more on the tick value and how much everything is worth. I've set my limits, my partials, my take profits, and I'm off. So again, once I start teaching how to trade and everything, you will realize that you don't really need to sit down the whole day and trade and everything. You need that particular time to trade. So even in that regard, live trading wouldn't really be possible. But yeah, we can see in the future if we can set something up, honestly. But for now, I don't think so. I would personally focus more on showing results and teaching how those said results I've achieved for the day, because I personally feel that education comes first. Even if I show myself trading live, I believe for all of you people who are actually new, you won't be understanding what is happening, honestly, because my chart just has candles, nothing else, no RSI, no MACDs, no nothing, just candles, and I'm just hovering around candles and seeing stuff and then trading. So in terms of fruitfulness, it won't be fruitful at all. People will not learn. It'll just be rather me showing that, oh look, I can earn money. And that's not my primary aim here. My primary aim is just to teach. So for now, I just like to focus more on the teaching bit.
Yeah, I think, Rosie, the thing that we kind of decided from this beginning was we have traders and people doing live calls and all that stuff, and that's great. I mean, to be very honest, that's fine. But what we wanted to kind of encourage people to do was to kind of learn how to do it themselves. And I think, at least for the course that we've set out for now, out of which the 5 topics that we've shared for the time being, we don't have a plan of doing live trades yet. I don't want to rule it out, whether Adam later on is comfortable doing it or somebody else comes along. I don't want to rule it out. But for the time being, we don't really have any plans for doing that. My plan is to expand on the education. So right now we're going to be focusing on NASDAQ here. We will also be then looking into crypto, other sorts of indices, and so on and so forth. And it's not going to be just trading. I want to kind of encourage an ecosystem where we have education for everything. It's an ambitious plan, and I don't know if
It's a very achievable plan, honestly.
yeah, but the hope is that we will be achievable. Sorry, I'm just going to read this. I see what you mean. Okay, what I could probably do is I'll have a chat with Adam later on today or tomorrow, and we can see if he can record a session where he might be taking a trade or two. That way he can, blur out whatever he wants to blur out, but at least
Oh, okay. I found the public chat. Nice.
in action, I think.
Let me have a look.
Yeah. Glenn, the ebook from Alt Vesting is ready. It is on WAP, I think. The other kind of other course that we had ready, I'm going to have to check with Tyler because he was working on that.
So, Rosie, in terms of chart printing candles, what I could do is I could again go in back testing, replay mode, and I could actually like record a replay mode video recording of a specific trade that I took today with an explanation. So I guess that in a way you could consider a live trade as well, but in just back tested time. In that way you could see the candles printing in real time and see what is happening and how it's happening. And as you said, you find it more easy like when the candles are printing. So I guess that's a good solution.
So when you're when you're looking at a trade setup, you either change between charts, like you might look at the day.
Sorry, your voice is completely cracking down.
4 hour. You might take your entry on the 5 minute. I'm pretty sure when you go to backtesting mode, you're stuck on one time frame.
Oh yeah, you're right. You'll be stuck on one thing. Yeah.
And if you switch, then you lose that backtesting. So that's more why I was asking, because it's that, what's your...
Okay, I get you. Yeah, I get you. But if you look at the explanation, I mean, from my side, I try my best. That's something I focus on. That when I'm jumping down from a time frame to time frame, see if I'm on like a 15-minute time frame and I've marked something, I try to draw like a big box around it and I extend it so that when I drop down a further time frame, you can still see on that time frame, the smaller time frame, the box that I've marked. So I mean, from my side, I try to do that. But yeah, we could think of something to overcome this as well.
So the other question from Glenn was, is your strategy the same for day trading and scalp trading?
Yeah, the TA is same. The TA is always the same. Because you see, what's the difference, man, between like the different types of trading when you're trading short-term trading, long-term trading, swing trading? It's just the different time frames, right? So yeah, the TA is the same for the time frame, man. So it's the same. If you're scalping on a 5 minute, it's essentially the same. You read the chart the same way based on time and price.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I ask a question? Glenn speaking here.
Yeah, sure, man.
Okay. You explain the quarter in the explained it. You got the March, if you do the futures, you got the March, the June. Is this the time that the future is, of the future trade is agree, or can you explain this maybe better for me,
Um,
please?
yeah, so see, you can, this is just for knowledge sake, as I told you, if you can take your trade on two different charts for the micros. So if you take the NQ, the NASDAQ, so the symbol for NASDAQ is NQ, right? But since we're trading on micros, we go for MNQ. So you can trade on the MNQ, and you can also trade on the NASDAQ for the specific contract quarter that you're in. So this is just how it's regulated and divided by the institution into 4 quarters. Like, see, the year has 4 quarters, and each of them have 3 months, right? So in the first 3 months, that is the first quarter, the contract that is labeled by the institutions for NASDAQ has a specific label to it. Like currently we're in MNQU, which means we're inside the July, August, and September contract. That's just added extra information that you need to know. This has nothing to do with like the trade that you take. The only thing I'm trying to say is don't take the trade on the NQ chart. Take your trade on the MNQ chart or the MNQU, which is the September contract. That way you know where you are and that you're taking the trade in the right chart. That's what I'm trying to say. But this whole thing, the whole thing about the things being divided,
thank you for the explanation. Thank you.
No problem, man. No problem. Anyone else? Any questions? Medraj, do you have any questions?
I think let's just wrap up for today. We've kind of gone over 30 minutes from my expected schedule. But this was good. We didn't get a lot of people tuning in, but that's fine. Time constraints and everything are a problem that will always be there. I used a free software which only let me record in 10-minute clips. So I'm going to have to go and combine all of them into one file, and I'll share them shortly.
Yeah, man.
Thank you everyone for coming.
I just got it earlier in the day, whatever.
No, that's fine. Next week is going to be better. We learn this way. All feedback, any feedback is more than welcome.
Yeah, of course. And hopefully next week we're going to start focusing on just the trading portion. I deliberately wanted this to be an introduction to futures because I just want people to know what it is that they're getting into, and that what they're getting into is really good. But we're going to start the proper trading just bit by bit, because there's a lot of things to learn, but obviously at the end of the day, you're always going to catch up to one thing. Your brain's going to just focus on that one thing, and that one thing is something you're going to use to trade further on. And
yeah, and obviously the reason why we wanted to do the basics was because technical analysis applies on anything you're looking at, essentially. Strategies may vary, but your basic technical analysis comes in handy in anything that you will be trading in the future. So we wanted to kind of consolidate that to begin with. And then since Adam's specialty is NASDAQ, we will then be going purely into NASDAQ from there on.
And anything we do on NASDAQ applies to any sort of future commodity. S&P, Dow Jones, US 100, oil, steel, anything. The TA for futures is the same.
Great. Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's been quite interesting. The questions were great. I always like questions because that means people are listening and thinking about what we're talking about, which is always a good sign.
Of course, as many questions as you guys want. I personally love questions because I know that what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. So the more questions you ask, the more opportunity it gives me to show you that I know my shit and I know what I'm doing. And honestly, I didn't know we had so many messages in the chat box. Nice. Oh, these are all
Yeah,
the
these
answers.
are all those as well.
Oh shit.
So yeah, that's good. Take care, everybody. Have a nice evening and have a nice rest of your weekend.
Yep.
Take care.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
This is very important. You need to know what you're getting into and how much you can excel or how much you can destroy yourself. It's not just about, oh, buy, sell, buy, sell. You know, you need to know how much you're risking, what you're risking, and how much you're risking it for. So before you start trading, before you start learn how to trade, you need to have a brief idea and overview about what is it that I'm trading, what is NASDAQ, what are futures, what are indices. You know, if I'm trading crypto, what is crypto? What is Bitcoin? Like, what happens when I press buy on Bitcoin? What happens when I press sell on Bitcoin? So essentially it's the same. What happens when I press buy on NASDAQ? When I do this, and I do this, and I'm pressing buy, what's happening? So essentially I'm signing a contract for 10 micros. I want to buy 10 micros worth of contract from NASDAQ. And I'm expecting price from here to drop until here in the next this much time. If it does, that's it, time expired, I keep my money. And how much money do I keep? That is based on how much I'm willing to risk in terms of the contract and how much do I want at the end of it. Do I want 10 ticks? Do I want 100 ticks, 1,000 ticks, 10,000, 100,000? Look at this. Imagine you can do this. You can obviously at some point in life, when you have this much money, you can do this. And yeah, it's stupid because you're risking $312 for this much, right? Obviously, it's a bit too ambitious, but still. You can do this. Yep. That's still nothing, honestly. It's stupid. This is a stupid, ridiculous amount of money. Again, as long as you know what you are doing and why is it that you're doing and what is happening when you're doing it. What is happening when you're pressing the buy? What is happening when you're pressing the sell? What is happening when I'm selling a limit or market? So I guess that is it for today. And essentially, this is what it is. And in the coming few weeks, when we're having more sessions, we're going to start talking about how to trade and basically what trading is and how we trade, and based on time and price. That's all I'm ever going to teach, how to trade based on time and price, and that's all you're ever going to need in your life about how to trade, time and price. Trust me. I've openly told you where I've learned things from. You yourself can go and learn from there. It'll all fly over your head, but trust me, this is something you need to give time. Then when you come back, trade futures, gold futures, oil futures, NASDAQ, anything you want to trade, it applies everywhere. And you can essentially just get this print. Because yeah, I started this fairly recently, and I'm just happy that I ended up doing the right thing and I learned from the right places, the right people, and I had the right mindset. Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement still for me, and I share my everyday trading on the testimonial. I have my daily trading breakdown in the premium section, and I don't know how many people see that, how many don't, but trust me that you're not going to get this anywhere else. This is just free stuff, honestly. And yeah, that's about it. If anyone has any questions, honestly, I'll be more than happy to answer any sort of question that you have. Even if I don't know the answer, I'll just try to dig up the answer and I'll come back to you with an answer.
Thank you very much, Adam. That was very informational. I think, as we kind of discussed this before as well, it's very important to start from the basics. It is not as simple as clicking a button saying buy. You need to understand what's going on in the background.
Of course, 110%.
Yeah. And then, luck is involved, luck is everywhere, and you need it, right? to some extent. But the important thing is that you need to understand the basics of it, the technical analysis aspects of it, and once you get the hang of it, I think it's the money printer. And as you've kind of mentioned and shared with us and models on a daily basis, making 500 to 1,000 a day consistently is a money printer hack, if you ask me.
It is honestly.
Yeah, and
I
I'll
mean,
open up the stage for everybody else. If they have any questions, feel free to type or just unmute your mic. This is usually the awkward silence after a talk.
yeah, no problem, man. I feel like a lot of people in the Discord are yet to see this because obviously we've recorded this. A lot of people can't join, I know, because of the time zone constraint. But yeah, but honestly, you talked about earning, like, see, let's start with the bare minimum. My bare minimum target was $200 a day. And that's, I think it's, how many days do you have in a month, man? 30, right? So you minus 2, 4, 6, 8. So 22 because Saturday, Sundays are off for the futures. So let's say every day you get 200, and at the end of 22 trading days you have $4,400 at the end of the month. And I honestly don't know which day job for someone who's just started working in their professional life gets $4,400 a month. I don't. My day job does not give me $4,400 a month. I'll put that out there, trust me. So, and then when the month passes by and you consistently earn 200 a day, let's amp that up to 500 a day. That's $11,000 per month. When you're even more consistent, amp it up to, say, 700 a day. That's 15,400. Go 1,000 a day. That's 22,000 a month. 22,000 a month, and you consistently do it for 12 months, man. That's $264,000 a year.
Yeah, no, that's
that makes you top 10% of the wealthiest people in US.
Yeah. We've got a question from Glenn in the chat. Glenn, I think it's going to be either Saturday or Sunday. We voted on the time, so I think we will keep this time as is. Every Monday or Sunday, I will probably release the time and date for the next one, and make a small event so people can mark their interest.
Yeah, I mean, if in the future there's any adjustment for time, we could go for that on the weekend. That's fine.
I think the weekend works best for Adam because obviously with the day job and
yeah, honestly, by the time I get free, it's like 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah. And Rosie, the answer to your question, I'm going to leave that to Adam. Adam, Rosie's asking, will you eventually run sessions when the market is open too?
Hold on. Why can't I see any of this, man?
I can show you how to do all of that for the next week's session.
Oh, okay. So what's the question? Sorry?
The question is, will you be running live sessions when the market is open?
Oh, as in live trading.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. As Medresh told me initially, I told him that these aren't call-outs, and like live trading and stuff is something that I personally don't do. Not because I don't have anything to hide or anything, but it's just that I just try to keep my earnings and how I earn like more private. That's why all this time I've just been trading on my own, not doing anything, but obviously I just wanted to share all the information and everything. So at least for now, I wouldn't say that I'd be able to live trade. Also because of the time constraints that I have on myself. Honestly, I trade in a way that I only trade like an hour in a day. That's it. Because again, I trade solely based on time and price. So it's come down for me to a point where I only trade for like an hour. And in that too, I just try to find an entry in that 1 hour.